Brian Kilmeade has issued an apology after this segment came out.
It actually happened when we were together on Wednesday, Lawrence. In the morning, we were discussing the murder of Irina Zaruska in Charlotte, North Carolina, and how to stop these kinds of attacks by homeless, mentally ill assailants, including institutionalizing or jailing such people so they cannot attack again. Now, during that discussion, I wrongly said they should get lethal injections. I apologize for that extremely callous remark. I'm obviously aware that not all mentally ill homeless people act as the perpetrator did in North Carolina, and that so many homeless people deserve our empathy and compassion. Lawrence, back to you.
All right, thanks, Brian. I'll see you tomorrow.
I honestly think it's disgusting, and I think it's something that, again, just shows that most people don't understand public safety. Most people don't understand policing, and there is an evil spirit in this country, and it's infecting both the left and the right. Listen to what Brian Kilmeade and Lawrence B. Jones have to say about mentally ill and homeless people. Now, again, the guy that murdered that girl, should he be met with the death penalty? Absolutely. Absolutely he should. Again, another biblical principle, right? So, take a life, and so shall your life be taken, right? And take an innocent life, you got a big problem, you know? So, but that's not what they're talking about here. They're talking about locking up people that are homeless, locking up people that are mentally ill, and going as far as killing them. And I can't understand how this is also turning up the temperature in America and causing fans to flame between the left and the right, and really just devaluing human life. And this was absolutely disgusting. When I heard this, I was like, I can't believe what I'm listening to.
Billions of dollars to mental health and the homeless population. A lot of them don't want to take the programs. A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources that we're going to give you, or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
Yeah, Brian, why did it have to get to this point?
Right. I would say this. We're not voting.
I mean, what do you guys think? So lock up homeless people who don't want to go into a homeless shelter because it's dangerous and they get raped and robbed in there. And again, we support involuntary removals of those who are a harm to themselves or others being brought to a psychiatric facility and giving them the proper treatment they need and releasing them only when they are no longer a danger to themselves or others. So we support involuntary removal on the show. However, there are people that are homeless across this country that are willingly homeless. And while I don't support with them just popping a tent, obviously, or sitting up anywhere they want, you can't just force people because you claim that they're homeless or however, and you're going to stick them in institutions. And then, hey, and let's just hit them with a lethal injection, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Is this guy Canadian? Because, they have legalized euthanasia over there. You know, this is just that comment is just absurd.
I better get out of kind of quick, Marlon. I'm here right now.
Hey, you better be careful what you're saying, Canada, the People's Republic of Canada up there. You know,
it sure is.
Yeah. But yeah, this comment is just completely out of line, and the fact that none of his hosts looked at him like, what are you talking about, or even like confronted him on that is the other thing that should make us question what's going on. You know, whenever the media does things like this, call me conspiracist or whatever, but whenever the media does things like this, I don't think it's coincidence. I think they're just putting it out there, you know, to see what putting feelers out there, you know, to see what the reaction is going to be like, especially now that we have social media and you can almost see it immediately, you know. But this comment is just next level out of line, and I personally think he should have been off the network for like maybe a month at least for saying that, you know.
Well, I'll say on this network that we don't see things through a one-way mirror. It's two-sided. and we give a fair assessment, right? We give a fair assessment on what happens on the left, and we give a fair assessment on what happens on the right. Fox News was supposedly conservative media at some point, but the bottom line is we have to hold people accountable. And his words were inflammatory, irresponsible, no different from what Tony Herbert said. They're both irresponsible, inflammable, and you should be held accountable. And he should be held responsible for it. And there should be some type of discipline with the network as far as his statements. You know, I'm not sure exactly if that's what he meant. Maybe it was just figuratively speaking. It does seem that he was just saying, hey, kill them all. Maybe it was in the moment what he was saying. But the bottom line is he has to be more intelligible and have more emotional intelligence, especially right now at the height of things. I mean, we're in some volatile times in this country where Charlie Kirk was assassinated. This young poor girl was just completely brutalized on the train in North Carolina. It was a shame. But we need to look at what's the real problem. The problem is the leadership of this country. It's the politics, and the politics are the leadership of this country that we've gotten to this point. Is mental health a problem? Yes, but the leadership is never handling this problem. Do we just discard these people and throw them away? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. John, I think you said it earlier. You've had people that had mental illness in your family. I've had numerous friends that have suffered from mental illness, men and women that I've served with in the military, men that have suffered severely from trauma and things that are on their mind. And I'm sure many people in the police department and law enforcement throughout the entire country have suffered through trauma. Do we discard people with mental illness? Absolutely not. We need to care for them, just like someone that has a broken leg. We need to care for them. This is completely irresponsible. You know, go ahead, Marlon. But as far as
I'm sorry. I thought you were finished. Yeah.
No, but as far as a death penalty or something like that, that's a different discussion. But the manner and the context they were saying, I think was completely irresponsible. And we need responsibility from people that have power. When you're on television and you're mainstream media, your words are impactful. And I don't think they realize their implications anymore. No longer are journalists held accountable as they were before. And the reason why I think is many times journalists are put on the red carpet or put on the spot. What you hear often is they'll say, well, I'm not really a journalist, I'm an entertainer. And that's how they get around these things.
No, and the whole thing is like, you know, it's just like Joel Ramirez brings it up. Like, oh, that's what he thinks about the homeless. What do you think he thinks about the middle class? And that is absolutely true. And what does he think about the United States Constitution? Does he consider himself a Christian? Because it doesn't sound like these aren't conservative talking points. These aren't Christian talking points. These aren't, I mean, this is literally Nazi propaganda. That's what it is. And I'm with you, Marlon. I don't buy for 1 second that wasn't completely intentional. You know, lock them up. You know, Lawrence B. Jones, you're in Texas, right, bro? You're in Texas, the free state of Texas, bro. Everything's bigger and better in Texas. But you're going to lock people up if they decide, or maybe we could consider Eric homeless. He's traveling a thing. Maybe we could just lock him up, throw him in the thing, you know? And like, you know, and like it's, you know, they sit there and say that they support freedom and they're on the opposite side of the left and nobody should be making horrible claims. And then you're sitting there saying, yeah, we should be able to lock you up at any point and kill you and even kill you. I mean, that's basically, that was Hitler's public safety plan. Like, that's what Fox News is now adopting. And, you know, I was on Newsmax a couple of months ago, and I was with David Harris Jr., and he was talking about Luigi Mangione and how all these people, you know, how it's a sick society, how all these people are, like, cheering on Luigi Mangione. And he said, oh, they should be thrown in jail. Shouldn't they be thrown in jail? And I was like, I'm a free speech absolutist. I think that it's absolutely horrible what they're doing. But no, I don't think that they should be thrown in jail. I think they should be shunned by society. I think they should be taught better. I think they should be exposed for who they are. But no, I don't think that they should be thrown in jail. You know, and so, like, you know, you got to really watch and listen to who you got to listen to. Like, if you're going to listen to these people, you have to understand one thing. They're talking heads. They don't understand most of the issues they're talking about. And clearly, they don't have well thought out, nuanced positions on public safety. They don't understand the United States Constitution. They don't understand law. And they're just as flawed as the people they're criticizing. Am I saying that they need to be removed and fired? Well, you know what? If Tony Herbert got fired, you know, I was like, Well, and they're cheering that on. So, like, what's the difference here? Why shouldn't the left be cheering on their firing too? It's, it's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, and I just want to point out that his comments weren't facetious. It wasn't just like a moment of inappropriate humor. Because he said it with a serious face after, and he says kill them. So that's just completely outrageous. And I also want to point out the fact that you guys in the chat and you guys who are watching us, whenever you hear these incidents of either a mass shooting or a lot of these horrific videos we've seen, like the Ukrainian immigrant who was killed in North Carolina, whenever you hear these incidents and they bring up the guy's mental health, ask yourself about what I said before about his pharmaceutical history, because that really needs to be talked about. I'm pointing this out only because we're jumping. You have people like this jumping straight to that, and not even asking questions about, hey, what role did that place on in terms of what role does this medication have in terms of creating these psychos in society and for creating mentally unbalanced people? They're not having that conversation.
You've just watched a clip from our live episode. Click the description to watch the full episode. Like, share, and subscribe for more videos just like this.